I said something wrong, now I long for yesterday.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Video Breakdown, and today I have Yesterday, my newest AMV. So here it is. This is what it all looks like, all mapped out, all zoomed out and whatnot on the editing board. I guess it's first to say that I'm using a different software. I'm using iMovie right now, and sort of going back to my roots, if you will. And just sort of some stuff to start out with is this black bar that goes underneath the actual footage that I've used. And what that black bar is, it's just a placeholder, because when I take the footage from the editing board and put it onto the main board, I guess, if you will, it looks like this, and it just looks kind of an odd, I guess the way it flows doesn't look right to me, and this feels more accurate and more precise. So that's kind of just the main reason why I did that. So I've been doing that for quite a while with iMovie, at least. So there's that. And another thing to talk about is how much left of the song, or how much of the editing I use for this, a song or the audio editing. And really there's not much audio editing going on. Even though I might sound hypocritical saying this because of Dragon Ball Dubstep 3.0, but I don't like to edit the song too much. I like to preserve the song as much. And really, just this whole bit right here is just mute, it's just not, there's not a lot to it. So I just edited to the point where the music actually does start immediately playing. It goes from mute to song. So just a little FYI, or just a little information there on how I do that. Yeah, so moving on. And I guess also there's this is also just sort of mute as well. It's just sort of starts to fade out, and that's just a little cut off there, so it's a little more tighter, I guess. So yeah, and the next, bit of the video breakdown is cropping. I mean, a lot of the footage is pretty untouched. I mean, I might have done some speeding up, slowing down, but really a lot of the footage I used in this was pretty much untouched, except for the cropping, which is kind of a big deal in this whole thing, I felt like. And as you can see, it goes from 16:9. A lot of footage is actually in this show. I mean, half of it's 16:9, half of it's 4:3. And so I just had to do some cropping. Some of it was auto crop, just let it roll the way it is, kind of centered and everything. But sometimes I had to manually adjust the crop, so if it was centered like this on say Fooly Cooly right here, it just doesn't look right. His head's kind of cut off right here, and just doesn't look exactly right. So that's why I kind of brought it up to the top, so it looks like he's all the way in the picture and nothing's cut up at the top, and you can still get the idea of what everything else is, I guess. So there's that. Another part of the cropping was, and this is a little frustrating because for some odd reason Evangelion 3.33 was letterboxed, so you can see that I haven't cropped this part, and this is just for the footage, but so when you crop it, it goes from this letterboxing 16:9 to no letterbox and 16:9, but it's got part of the sides are kind of missing when you do crop it. So it's go from this to this. So I mean, it still looks fine, especially with the panning. It kind of helps get a bit bigger picture of what's going on, but it's still kind of missing in some ways. But I thought it turned out alright, and it was just odd because everything else in the rebuild series for Evangelion was full screen 16:9, and this was letterboxed 16:9, which is just a bit odd. But that's just me. Okay, yeah, and a lot all the footage I used was very, in my opinion, was very new. I mean, I used a lot of repeat stuff or stuff that is familiar, but a lot of it's new, you know, like this. I mean, I've used Requiem for the Phantom before, the footage from there, but I've never used it. Like, for instance, I've never used this clip before. I've never used this footage piece right here before, and I think that's what made it a little more special, because it felt more fresh, or it felt more, I guess, newer than what I would normally have. So that's why I have a lot of this new footage. Just kind of felt a little more fresh and new. I mean, like, there's a lot of new footage, like new footage, where it's a different anime that I've never used before, like Nausicaa or Wolf Children, and but some of the stuff was just, I've never used certain shots like this and, you know, that. So even this right here, it's Black Lagoon. I've never used that before. And yeah. So this clip right here is something interesting, because if you look at it, and I'll put it over here so you can get a better picture of what I'm doing, if iMovie will let me. Another reason why I don't preferably like iMovie. So this clip is, not only is it sped up, but it's also in reverse. So I'm going to put it in normal and unreverse it. So even though there's really this little like clip frame right here of Ryuk, so even though there's that, I mean, once it's sped up and cropped, or not cropped, edited, it looks like just like this. It doesn't, you don't have to see that. So, but anyway, so this is what it looks like pretty much in normal. So I'll just kind of play this back. So it pans right to left, and really what I wanted was the exact opposite, which was left to right, because the lyric is, there's a shadow hanging over me. I just felt like it was more like light, and then the shadow is Ryuk, so it just felt like sort of going towards the direction of the lyrics, and that whole shebang, if you will. So it's just a creative decision there, so it's just something interesting. Yeah, so something also about this video is, I felt like there was bits and pieces that just felt too much like home to me, and kind of another reason why I used different footage was because I wanted to kind of break away from that song. And that song is very much a love song, and it would have been like, I felt like this song, this AMV, would have been more of a duplicate or a sequel or whatever you want to call it to Home. So I decided to not only use different footage, but also not use any transitions or like fade in and fade out of black. For instance, if I did this, just add a couple of seconds there, and kind of, you can see it kind of fade in and out. And I mean, in Home, for example, I probably would have used it for all this stuff, fade in, fade out of black. And for this, I didn't. And it also makes it look a little more snappier. So it's not so, I guess the word dolphining effect sort of comes in play, where it's just in, out, and when it's played back, it just looks more snappier. Yeah. So there's that, and yeah, just a lot of different kind of footage, new footage, old footage, and a little more cropping, of course. And my entire favorite, I guess, part of the video was this whole part right here. Yeah, so it's just kind of, I don't know, I just like the way this whole part right here looks, and the way it's done and everything, and it just fits really well with the song and the spirit of the video and everything. So yeah, something that I tried to do, I didn't have enough time to do it, I guess, properly, was the song, often brings up the lyric yesterday, obviously. But the song also means, yesterday I didn't have problems, and now I do. And one of the things I tried to emulate was that sort of idea. And what I tried to do was get footage of every time they tried to say yesterday, not try to say, but every time the lyrics was yesterday, I try to put in something related to a previous clip. Like, for example, I would use, or is it right here? I would use, like, this is yesterday right here, and then it's sort of the same, scene, and it's the same, like, lyrics, so it sort of repeats itself, saying, kind of going, like, back in time, back in the video, back in the song, so it's sort of going, not backwards exactly, but it's just sort of repeating itself. That's something I kind of tried to emulate and try to recreate, but wasn't completely successful. But I did have, like, sort of remnants, or like bits and pieces of that kind of idea. So another interesting thing about the video is this whole part right here. It's actually two different, I guess, clips, and the second clip is actually just this first clip, which is Shinji in Evangelion 3.33. He bobs his head, and really it's all it is just the first 0.8 seconds cut and then copy pasted. It's right here. And normally, like, sometimes an anime, if I was gonna take this half right, or this this clip, and then say copy paste it just the way it is, it would have kind of like a frame or two out of place from where it ends in the original clip, if that makes sense. And right here you can see it doesn't, like, miss a beat, no pun intended, I guess. But yeah, it just doesn't miss a beat, and it just goes right back to, like, position 1 in the animation. And once again, going back, in the what I said before was the fact that I kind of wanted to make it sort of come full circle in a sense. Like, for instance, I try to do use the lyrics in the like for the song in the song. What am I trying to say? Like, for instance, I used yesterday, and then I would use this part right here, because I used yesterday the footage that's a lot like this one right here. And this part at the very end is actually also the beginning of the song in the video, because if you look at it, like this, it's just the same footage right here. Like, this is the beginning of the video, if you think about it that way, and this is the end right here. So it sort of just kind of comes full circle. And something I really liked about the entire video was kind of emulating the lyrics to emulate the footage and make it all sort of circular, and really playing on that song, the lyrics and everything about it. So yeah. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see the original video, the original AMV, I should say, it's on Vimeo, and I'll put a link to that in the description. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Goodbye.